Ahead this hour, a sprint to the finish line. Big-name Republicans and Democrats hit the campaign trail just 3 days until the critical U.S. midterm elections. Plus, the forgotten war, horrific scenes and stories by people devastated by the war in Yemen. And the U.S. economy may be booming, but its effect may not be trickling down to some. I talked to seniors still working beyond retirement. Hello, I'm Lynda Kinkade. Welcome to CNN Newsroom. Well, there's just 3 days to go until the midterm elections here in the U.S., an election that is considered a referendum on how Donald Trump is doing 2 years into his presidency. Well, control of Congress is at stake, and political heavy hitters are crisscrossing the country. President Trump is on his way to Belgrade, Montana for a rally next hour. It's the latest in a dizzying array of campaign stops before Tuesday as Mr. Trump embraces the role of campaigner-in-chief, where he's been stoking up fear about immigrants and crime.
They want to take away your good health care and essentially use socialism to turn America into Venezuela. And Democrats want to totally open the borders. They have the caravans. Let them in. Do you want to let them in? Does anybody want to let them run?
Donald Trump there, where high-profile Democrats are out on the trail too. Former Vice President Joe Biden is in Ohio today, and former President Barack Obama delivered an impassioned plea to encourage people to come out to vote.
The consequences of any of us staying home really are profound, because America's at a crossroads. The health care of millions of people are on the ballot. Making sure working families get a fair shake is on the ballot. But maybe most of all, the character of our country is on the ballot.
Well, senior White House correspondent Jeff Zeleny is in Belgrade, Montana, where President Trump will speak. He joins me now. Good to have you with us, Jeff. This, of course, is the president's 4th trip to Montana. And from what you found, he has visited this state, campaigned there more than any other president before him. You've interviewed the Democrat candidate there, Jon Tester. What does he make of Donald Trump's involvement?
Well, Lynda, there's no question President Trump is focusing on this race in Montana for one reason above all. Montana is one of those red states where President Trump won by some 20 points back in 2016, but it's represented by one of their U.S. senators as a Democrat, Jon Tester. Now, the president is saying this is a very personal fight against Jon Tester, all because of a skirmish they had earlier this year over the Veterans Affairs Secretary, someone who was nominated to be the VA Secretary back in Washington, Dr. Ronnie Jackson, the president's personal physician. Well, Jon Tester, the Democratic senator, is the top Democrat on the VA committee, and he raised questions about the qualifications of Dr. Jackson, essentially thwarting his nomination. So President Trump is taking a personal interest in this race. He's come out here again and again trying to nationalize this race, trying to knock off Jon Tester. We caught up with Senator Tester on Friday. He had this to say to the president.
Whether the president comes here or not, it doesn't make any difference. It's just still a race between Matt Rosendale and myself. Although I will tell you this, I think the president coming was a good thing, and I would like to see him get around and not just do rallies, but actually see some of the challenges we have in a rural state like Montana. I mean, he's from New York City. He could learn a lot.
So the senator taking a bit of a dig at the president there, saying he's from New York City. He's doing the same of his actual Republican opponent who's on the ballot here. His name is Matt Rosendale. He's a Maryland developer who moved out here to Montana about 15 years or so ago. So that is the issue there. But in the president's eyes, at least, this is Trump versus Tester. And it's going to be one of the key tests to see how powerful President Trump is and how persuasive he is with his own supporters. If he can get them out to the polls on Tuesday to vote against Jon Tester and to knock him off. The president is telling his allies and his aides that he believes the sweetest victory on Election Day would be to beat Jon Tester. We'll see if that happens, Lynda.
Yeah, we certainly will. Just a few days to see how much impact Donald Trump really has there. Jeff Zeleny, we'll have to leave it there for now, but I'm sure we'll talk to you again very soon. Thanks so much.